You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Rudy rules on Harry's wife. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yes, it is he of the melting head. Well, more accurately, the image of Rudy Giuliani holding forth in a parking lot while his hair dye drips down the side of his head is an enduring image. And somehow he's got himself into a situation of being roped in with Harry's wife. Harry's wife continues, somewhat astonishingly, but not particularly surprisingly, entertaining the concept that she could handle politics. As I've made clear on numerous occasions, politics is a narcissist playground. The wielding of power, governmental, military, economic, attracts narcissists like ants to jam on a summer's day. The fact is that the wielding of that power naturally allows a narcissist to assert control over millions of people, draw fuel from the various responses, have access to a range of character traits, and residual benefits galore. Networks, special individuals, facade management, and of course, money. It's little wonder that politics is festooned with narcissists of all shapes and sizes, colours, and political persuasions. However, there are only certain narcissists that will actually thrive in such an environment, and Harry's wife is not one of them. The problem is, she relies too much on her victimhood. She doesn't have sufficient intelligence. She doesn't have street smarts. She doesn't have much in the way of life experience that would aid her in a political career. She doesn't have any charisma. And the problem is that because she would face threats to her control on a daily basis, she lacks the wit, charisma, courage, entertaining value, and intelligence to take those challenges head-on with a witty riposte or a sparkling put-down or with an engaging speech. Instead, she would just have to basically drop to the floor sobbing, crying about how mean everybody has been to her. Behind closed doors, she would complain like mad about the audacity of anybody to criticise her, but she simply doesn't have the right stuff for politics. Yes, her narcissism might propel her towards it, but in the way that it functioned vis-à-vis the royal family, her narcissism isn't geared up to deal with the political viper's nest. But this doesn't stop her from trying to suggest that politics is something that she could get into. Why? Because her narcissism doesn't recognise her limitations. Her narcissism simply looks at the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and says, "Oh, look over there. Politics. That'll allow our host to assert control over loads of people. She'll get her hands on power. Imagine how many haters she can nullify then. Ooh, think of the fuel. Everybody responding to what she has to say when she makes a brilliant speech. And character traits and residual benefits galore. Imagine what her memoirs will go for. Come on, let's encourage our narcissist, Harry's wife, to march over the rainbow to that pot of gold in the promised land." And thus, that is why she keeps plugging away at the suggestion that she should be involved in some form of political role, because her narcissism believes that she's suited to do so. Save she is not. But what about Rudy Giuliani? Well, GB News tells us, you never know. Rudy Giuliani weighs in on Harry's wife's potential White House bid. Jack Waters writes, "There has been growing speculation about whether the Duchess of Sussex is looking to launch a political career. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani has weighed in on Harry's wife's political ambitions as the actress-turned-royal looks to rebuild her reputation following a turbulent few months. Much has been made about whether the 42-year-old will try her hand at politics. The Duchess of Sussex made a number of interventions since relocating to the United States, following the couple's decision to step down as working members of the royal family. Harry's wife has even lobbied American politicians for changes to parental leave, which went nowhere, and climate policy, which went nowhere." Commenting on the Duchess's potential political ambitions, Giuliani said, I don't see it. But look, I should shut up. You never know in America. It seems unlikely, but not impossible. American politics is very unpredictable, and it's getting more that way. Harry's wife has been rather coy about her own political ambitions. However, opinion polls suggest she could fare well against other Democratic Party contenders in a primary election. Doesn't say much for what the Democratic Party has to offer if that is the case. A poll by the Washington-based Democracy Institute of Democratic Voters found that 25% said the Duchess of Sussex would be the best for the job out of a list of potential female runners. The mother of two came in joint first place alongside Vice President Kamala Harris. Former Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, who lost to the Donald in 2016, was next with 22%. Despite not clearly expressing a desire to enter politics, albeit ensuring through PR puff pieces it keeps getting mentioned, Harry's wife recently came under fire from Republican favourite Donald Trump. The 45th president, who the Duchess has labelled divisive and misogynistic, smearing, indirect assertion of control, said he would love to debate Harry's wife. Trump added, and see parts pass him, "Let's go do something. I'd love to debate her. I would love it." And indeed, the Donald would, because as I've explained, the pugilistic style that he has would see her drop to the floor, sobbing and crawling away, utterly smashed by the juggernaut that is the Orange of Donald. The 77-year-old went on to accuse the Duchess of treating the late Queen with disrespect, and said he didn't like the fact the Sussexes were getting US security when they came here. Once again, there's an appearance of Harry's wife, and it relates to political ambitions. Rudy Giuliani simply doesn't think she's up to it, but then thinks, do you know what, crazier things have happened. There is, I think, the distinct possibility that Harry's wife will try to enter politics. This will be because she's basically running out of options. Her philanthropy she's not really interested in, and it's not taking her anywhere. She is trying Celebville again, but it's not really working. See parts pass him. She will eventually get rid of Prince Harry, and she's more or less all played out, the royal connections. And therefore, what has she got left? More victimhood? Well, if she divorces Harry, she can make a song and dance alleging that he abused her, etc., and pump out a memoir and do some interviewing. But she's going to have to try and find something more sustainable. And her narcissism is likely to try and lead her to go down the route of entering politics. So I think she'll make a tilt at it at some point, but she's not going to get very far at all, for the reasons that I already advanced. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.